Okay, so we're still on this part of the valve body for this next step. We've got here, it looks like we're just doing straight replacement of parts, real straightforward. And we'll see how this goes. So they also show the top here. Okay, so they're just showing check ball locations. So this is cool. I can use this to back check my photos to see if they're the same. But it says right here, warning, record all check ball locations. You know, if they're any different, always make sure you put them back the way you found them. Just like I said earlier, I was taking photos of all this before disassembly just to be sure. If this didn't match up, I would have the original check ball locations. So step 1, remove and discard the original SOL Reg valve, spring, and plug. Install new bushing valve, orange spring, and new end plug. Reuse original retainer. So these pieces we're going to remove and discard. And that retainer, this little guy right there, that's the only part we're going to reuse from the original parts. So we're looking for this guy, which is this one right here. So I'm going to put a little pressure on it, see if it moves. Yes, it does. We can do this by hand. Push down, grab it with the magnet tool. Oh, it's excited to come apart. So we're not going to reuse that part. Let me get this retainer clip. Place that down there. So our plug, we're not going to use that. I'm going to sit that there. Our spring, we're not going to use that. It's going to go over here. Now, here we are. If we get lucky. Nope. Oh, I think it did move. I don't want to slam this thing around because the other retainers may pop out. So just like before, I'll try. Whoop, yep, see there's another retainer, and the new retainer for the TCC valve there popped out. So this guy, let's see, right there. I'll be sure to double check that with this diagram. Yeah, that's correct. Alright, so lessons learned, don't flip it over and flop it around and smack it. So we're right here. Yeah, so we can see the other side of this thing. Alright, the brass retainer fell out again, but that's just going to happen. So I'm going to try to push this a little bit farther. Okay. Grab this brass retainer, pop that back into place so I don't forget. We're working right here. So as I'm putting this pick in, I'm just rotating it in towards the valve that I'm working with to give it that little nudge. And there we go. Out. This is also something we're not going to reuse. So that goes in the old pile there. Alright, double checking. Yep, there's nothing else in there. So now, these new parts, their orientation is first the bushing. So this bushing, we've got 3 holes. The new solenoid regulator valve engages there. Then our orange spring, and then the new plug. So this is the whole plug that that's replacing this guy, and it also acts as a retainer for the spring, or just a guide really, and it actually has a small hole in it. It's interesting. So just like everything else, slide this assembly in. It doesn't say anything about the orientation of those circle or those holes. I imagine they're going to line up to their appropriate circuits here. Yes, they do. Alright, so got a retainer here. Just pushing the plug in, drop the retainer in, and it's good to go. There's actually a little bit of spring tension on there, so it's putting tension on that retainer so that one won't fall out. Awesome. Step 1 is done. Step 2, remove the TCC control valve and clean. Match new bushing diameter to your original bushing diameter. Then discard the old bushing. So this guy we're looking at is this circuit right here. We got our landmark, the large opening there, and the little retainer there. So I'm going to go ahead and push that and magnet tool. So we're not going to use that retainer any longer. Send it over there. Alright, so we're going to be, the only thing we're going to be dealing with is this out here, but it's still telling me to remove the whole valve and clean, which I'm totally fine with. Makes sense to me, at least. Alright, so let's see if we can get this plug out. So the plug and this piece, this bushing, it's all one part on this guy. So it's got a spring internal to it. So this is the piece. The diagram shows it blown up into 3 parts, but we're going to reuse the spring. Reuse spring right there. So there's our back part. It's the retainer. The spring we're going to reuse. Let's slap that there and there. Let's get this valve out. Alright, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this guy up. Actually, you know what? Let's test fit. Nah. I'm gonna clean this up, put it back in, and then we'll test fit. And then we'll test fit without the spring, just to get them to match the bore. Our smaller diameter goes in, the nipple goes out. I want to put this back in there first, just to be sure that I don't lose this guy in there. And you know, that's a fairly captured zone there. I don't want to take the chance. All right, so we've got the one with the 3 lines here. Let's see if that guy fits, and it does, but it is a real snug fit. Let me grab the other one. Let's see what this guy's all about. Trying to get the valve out. There we go. Alright, putting this guy in. Okay, so this is way larger. This is definitely not. So the 2 line for me is not the one to use. So it was the one, for me at least, with the retainer in the back. So we've got our old spring. We'll go ahead and put that there with our new valve. Like that. Again, no notes about the orientation of the holes there. And then push that into place. We've got our new shorter retainer. Done. This valve body shift improvement kit is done. We don't have to touch the other one at all. So cool. So installation or reassembly of this whole thing is reverse, obviously, of disassembly. I'm gonna go ahead and pop my check balls. I'm gonna clean the check balls, pop them back into place, and I'm actually gonna keep this guy out just to confirm with my photos the locations of the check balls. Alright, using the instructions there, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So my valve body matched up to the check ball locations on here. I had, again, total 10. It's saying that there's 8 on the upper, but I'm not touching that. So I think we're good there. Next step. Alright, so I got some of my WS fluid here. Like I said, I just want to drizzle some of this onto the valves. Now I think that is well lubricated. Set that to the side. We'll grab the plate here, and I want to do one final clean on this plate. I think the accumulators are there. That's it. Let me set this to the side and get the main valve body in its place. Alright. So, things to note. We've got this little plastic insert here. I'm not exactly sure what's inside of it. I don't want to mess with it. We've got an alignment dowel here. Oh, that's not, no, that's actually a valve. That's a spring-loaded valve. So, keep those two things in mind. Make sure retainers, everything should be fine. Oh, you know what? I'm going to dump this thing out. There's a lot of old fluid in here. Alright, just tilt it on 10. Used some real light air pressure so I didn't blow any of these bits or anything else out, just to kind of help move it. It's not 100% flushed, but that's fine. I was never going to get any of the old fluid out of the main transmission body anyway, so a little bit here is not going to be detrimental. So I'm just going to go a little hog wild with it. Alright, so now our center piece, center valve body. Alright, so I'm using this opening as my landmark on the plate. So that I'm going to swing around. Now the check balls are, underneath of this. I can actually see the new brass retainer in that one valve that we reamed out. So take this, your hands, flip, and those two protruding elements, it is now seated. Hell yeah. Alright, cool. I made a total mess, but hell, it's worth it. So out of the 3 bolt lengths here, these 4 are the longer ones with the unthreaded shaft there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. All of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are all the medium length, no unthreaded shaft, and then our shortest one goes right there. Alright, last stretch here. Got my upper, dumped it out. I popped all the check valves out first, and then dumped it out. Used some just like I did on the main valve body, some light compressed air to help move the fluid. I'm gonna top her off. And I did wipe down this plate. I didn't use any, I'm gonna give it another wipe down. I see some debris. I didn't use any chemicals to clean it, mainly because it's got some kind of coating on it, and if it isn't some kind of coating and it's just another metal plate, it would be fine, but I don't want to risk it. I'm just going to wipe it down. Alright, so just like the other one, I'm going to find the alignment here. In this case, it's head direction. Put that around. And troweled bolt there, and then those bolts correspond there, so that should be it. So here, just to make sure I don't lose those check balls, and that's it. What's back here are the same length, so there should be only 3 of those. So these are the shortest out of the all the ones for this part of the valve body. So that goes the medium bolt. So that one, that one, that one, and that one, and then all of these down here. That's better. And the remainders, excluding our 3 holes here, because those are the mating surfaces to those 3 seals within the transmission body. There. And we're good to go. Oh, so this plate is slightly misaligned on this hole in the corner, and I bet you that is causing that to not thread. Okay, so I'm gonna break these loose for the plates. These now need to be yep, had a little bit of movement there, and now I've got engagement. Okay, cool. Alright, so just to future-proof this, I'm going to align it to that hole there and this hole down here, snug up a few of these, especially this guy. That one's still good. Cool. Now onto the torque wrench. Again, I didn't see anything about sequencing, so I'm just going to start in the middle and work my way out for the first pass like I did over here. Alright, cool. I'm happy with that. Alright, I'm gonna scoot this guy over, pull transmission back into the onto the pan here. Then the real fun starts, drilling out all those bolts. Alright, so using my landmark of the rectangular port there, I know that's my orientation, also the arm right here. I'm gonna feed that into its corresponding hole first. I'll let me sit the valve body onto the transmission there. Alright, I know this guy goes there. Let's clip for the harness. Alrighty. Now the rest of these should be the same length. Oh, there we go. So yeah, that's right. Long guys go there. Just 3 of them. And the rest of these are all the same length for sure. There. I don't think that's one. There we go. There's a hole there, but does not appear that it's. Oh no, it's threaded. Interesting. Doesn't look like there was a bolt there though. That's doesn't have any, discoloration like the rest of them. But if any of these don't thread in, I know where it goes. All right. Alright, got the torque wrench set to 80. I'm just gonna go around. Awesome. All torque to spec. Now, on to the next step.